Well, Jesus said, "You're the salt of the earth." But if the salt, he says, loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Then he went on to say, "You're the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Well, he describes our influence on the world as salt and light. We do our best at coaxing people into his upside down kingdom by what I call show and tell. And if you don't show it, then please, for God's sake, don't tell it. It's only good news if it comes from a good person. Not a perfect person, but one in which goodness overtakes badness. So the Bible, it's not a survivalist manifesto. We don't serve God best by cowering in Christian ghettos. You know that acronym for Bible, B-I-B-L-E, basic instructions before leaving earth? I don't really think that's the best way to describe the Bible's message or the commission that Jesus gave us, because the implication is that we're just passing the time here while we're waiting for Jesus to return and whisk us away to heaven. But I think he invites us to live a better way and to partner with him to make a better world. Our saltiness and our light bearing are directly proportionate to how much we live like Jesus. I mean, without that, we end up pushing people away rather than nudging them in. And we spread salt and project light only so far as we emulate the person of Jesus, right? I mean, we bring heaven's kingdom to earth in proportion to the way that we let heaven have its way in our way of living on earth. In other words, the world, it's decomposing. It needs salt. It's dark. It needs light. And as salt, we counter corruption, and as light, we dispel darkness. And if that sounds a bit daunting, it's because it is. But see, we can't afford to be dim lights or unsalty salt. It's by being different that we make a difference and contribute to God's purpose of returning the world to its original right side upness. But if our lives reflect anything but the attitudes and actions of Jesus, our saltiness is absorbed by the culture. Technically, salt can't lose its saltiness. That is, sodium chloride, it's a pretty stable compound and can't really be other than it is. But it can be washed away, leaving behind a pile of white dust that may look like salt, but it doesn't have any of its qualities. Then it's only good for filling potholes. I mean, if we lose our ability to promote and to preserve what's good in the world, we shouldn't be surprised that we're ignored or trampled on, like Jesus said, like road dust. If we're just as greedy, self-indulgent, violent, and arrogant as the dominant culture, then we become tasteless and useless, no longer good for anything, Jesus said. That's not exactly the legacy that we were intended to leave. Losing our saltiness means that we've lost our credibility and we deserve to be ignored. Conversely, we can counter the world's corruption and in his power dispel its darkness. But to do that, we have to take up our cross daily and follow Jesus and be like him more and more every day. So the character of our influence is the influence of our character. Amen.